I know you've wondered how much of a difference you can make in your body if you just locked in for 1 month. Well, over the next 4 videos, we're going to see what happens. So, starting a new mini series, we're actually going to finish this one. It's 4 weeks instead of 12, but we're locking in for 30 days, eating the same exact thing every day, 10,000 steps a day, working out 5 days a week. So today we gotta make some meal preps, and yeah, that's that's what we're doing today. We're going to the grocery store. So I'm gonna go change, and we'll get going. I'll stick around to find out just how many calories a day I'm gonna be intaking, and a guesstimate of just how much weight we might lose. As I mentioned before, your diet is going to be the hardest part of your fitness journey. It's real easy to just take a bite of something and be like, oh, that didn't hurt anything. Next thing you know, a couple bites later, you're 300 calories into what you were supposed to not be eating that day. So this time around, we're going to be very deliberate about what we are eating. I'm one of those that's pretty bad about just saying, hey, one bite won't hurt. Sure, I'll take that little piece of Reese's or whatever. But everything that we're going to eat is going to be the same exact thing every day for the next 30 days. But we're only going to be meal prepping one item, which is going to be the teriyaki rice burrito. It's actually a throwback to when my wife and I were in the Navy, in the shipyards. They used to have these Moody's food trucks that were pretty good, and they were allowed to make their own spins on burritos, and one of my favorites was called the Panda. It was exactly that. It was white rice with teriyaki sauce and chicken. That's pretty much all there was to it. So, yeah, we're going to head over to Food City and pick up our grocery haul and come back and do some meal prepping. Alright, so up first we got chicken breast. We need, let's see, 5.5. So we need like 8 pounds for 2 weeks. We'll just go ahead and do like 10. But straight up chicken breast is going to be one of your best sources of protein, about 120 calories, 22 grams of protein per 4 ounces. It's going to be one of the cheapest, one of the most filling ways to get all your protein in. Where's the wrap set? So we're going to be adding some black beans into it as well. 120 calories, 8 grams of protein. Pretty decent. Add a little bit of texture and flavor to it. And then the Hispanic off. Oh yeah, I think they. All right, cool. So we're back. So this is what we got going on for our meal prep for the next 30 days. So we are prepping for 15 and then I'll remake this again in 2 weeks. But this is all you need. You'll need some low carb burrito tortillas, boneless, skinless chicken breast, rice, some black beans, and sweet teriyaki sauce. That's literally it. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to toss this chicken into the foodie and get it going so that we can shred it. Now, I'll give you all the macros at the end because I don't know what they're going to end up being yet. I'm going to try and shove 8 ounces of chicken into each one of these, but it's kind of what we got to see. So at the very end, I'll give you all the breakdown on what the macros come out to be. So
Let's talk about something called basal metabolic rate, or BMR. Now, I explained this wrong a little later in the video, and it's an important factor to understand in order to lose weight. Your BMR is basically the number of calories your body burns just to stay alive, without you even moving. Imagine if you stayed in bed all day, your body would still use energy to keep your heart beating, lungs breathing, brains functioning, etc., and then that's what your BMR is. Now, the exact number of calories depends on things like your age, weight, height, and your sex. This also includes muscle mass. The more muscle mass you have, the higher your BMR is going to be. Now, why does this matter? Well, it makes up the biggest chunk of your daily use of energy, usually around 60 to 70%, and then the rest comes from your actual physical activity and then thermic effect of food, which is just how much energy it takes for you to digest food. So if you're looking at weight management, whether it's losing, gaining, or maintaining, it's useful to know your BMR. It gives you a baseline for how many calories your body needs just to function before adding in exercise or any kind of lifestyle factors. Think of it as your body's minimum energy budget, and then once you know it, you can make smarter choices about what you want to eat. Now, when I mention BMR later in the video, I'm actually talking about something called maintenance calories. And your maintenance calories is an estimate of both your BMR along with your physical activity. Now, depending on the algorithm and website you are using to calculate your numbers, they can vary quite a bit. This table is what my assumed maintenance calories are based on being 208 pounds and 65 inches tall. Now, I use garnethealth.org, which the link is in the description below, and I highly recommend you going to it and looking at what your basal metabolic rate is along with what your possible maintenance calories are. Now, I believe that I'm in the moderate exercise 3 to 5 times per week, around 2853, and part of that is just because I know my body and I know that I don't have a very fast metabolism just because of the way that I gain weight. So that's my assumption, and that's what I'll say later, is that I'm somewhere in the 2800 calorie range. So yeah, let's get back to the video.
alright, so I've already made 2 because I was trying to make sure I got it right, of course, for the cameras. But I'll tell you real quick, these are not great for rolling as burritos. They're super thin, completely fell apart. So we're going to use the one that I'm used to, the Mission Carb Balance. I didn't realize we already had a bunch of these, so 110 calories, 10 grams of protein. What I'm going to do, put down some aluminum foil, just so that we can wrap it up, not have to use any bags or anything like that. Now with these tortillas, if you do warm them up, it makes them a lot more malleable, a lot easier to use. But you don't have to if you don't want to. So I highly recommend picking up a scale. This is ours. This makes it a lot easier to measure out your macros. And once you get pretty familiar, you'll be able to pick out over time what something is just by looking at it. So if you're at a restaurant or something, you can pretty easily look at, a piece of fish, some chicken or whatever and be able to tell, oh yeah, that's around, X amount of calories, X amount of protein. 7.8. 7.8 will be fine. 8 ounces is quite a bit to try and shove into these and then get the other ingredients in too. So we're using Sweet Baby Ray's teriyaki sauce, 2 tablespoons. You're just gonna mix it up in here, just make sure that the flavor is more even throughout the whole thing. And then we will dump that on. There we go. All right. Next, we'll grab a half cup of instant white rice. Get that on here. And then a half cup of black beans. Give it a little extra texture, some more protein. All right, there we go. And then we're just gonna take it, start folding it up here. Kind of gotta grab it and keep everything in place as you roll. And voila. Take it and wrap it backwards. Twist the ends and got a meal prep ready to go. So I got another 12 of these to get through right now, and then we'll talk about the macros and the rest of my food.
Now let's talk about the grocery bill. So for breakfast, we're at $2.88. For lunch, we're at $4. And for dinner, we are at $2.33 on the burrito. Now I will say I did not have to purchase everything like our Huel Black. We had a subscription and then we weren't using it fast enough, so I actually still have like 7 bags of that. So yeah, but calculated across everything is $276.
All right, well, due to some poor planning on my part, we got 6 of these puppies made. So it's enough. Get through most of next week. I got to pick up some more tinfoil, and we'll be good. As you know, still have all these other ingredients ready to go. But let's talk about what the facts are that we care about on one of these. So after calculating everything, each one comes out to about 625 calories and 70 grams of protein on each one. Not real concerned about the rest of it. My goal is to be right around 170 grams protein a day, which does not match my 1 gram protein per day per pound of body weight because I am a little higher on the body fat spectrum. So as you have more body fat, you need less grams per pound because you're calculating for your lean mass is what you want to do really. So I think 170 will be pretty good for a cut. And let's talk about what the rest of my day will look like. All right, let's talk about what a full day of eating is going to look like for the next 30 days. So we just went over the burritos. Those are going to be dinner. For lunch, I'm just eating 2 of these. They are just bare lightly breaded chicken breast fillets. They are each 210 calories, 22 grams of protein. They're pretty good. This is typically what I do for lunch anyway, something easy. Um, I won't use any sauce with it, or I'll use mustard, which is 0 calories. For breakfast, I have a scoop of Synthesis vanilla, along with a scoop of Huel, Huel Black specifically. So this is 190 with 22 grams of protein. 1 scoop of this is a half portion, so it's 40 grams of protein for a full portion. So this is 20 grams and 200 calories. So in total, 1,555 calories and approximately 164 grams of protein. So I looked up what my base metabolic rate was, just a rough estimate, which is about 2,800. So that's a deficit of 1,250 calories a day, which is a very significant amount when you take into account that 3,500 makes a pound. So if you do the math, comes out to almost 10.7 pounds of deficit over the course of 30 days. This is very aggressive. Understand that if you do something like this, you will be losing muscle too. But our whole goal with this is to see how much change we can get in 30 days. All right, well, that's about it for this one. I know that this is a little shorter than most of the other ones, but I wanted to get something out for you guys, and I've been utilizing my time to prep for next upcoming month. So keep following. Next week is a full day of eating, I think. So I got scheduled, but we'll see. You'll get a full day of eating at some point, and I'll tell you how I feel about actually being on this diet because it's gonna suck, to be honest. But we'll see how it turns out. If you like this kind of content, please let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and go to the gym. That's about all I got for you.